Your daily bridge to fluency starts right now. I'm VA, and let's master your English flow.
Do you want to sound more natural in English and stop feeling like your brain completely freezes every single time you try to speak? Have you ever experienced that frustrating moment when you know exactly what you want to say in your mind, but the words simply refuse to come out of your mouth? Today, I'm going to teach you the shadowing technique, the secret weapon that professional interpreters and simultaneous translators use to master fluency and achieve near-native pronunciation. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how to train both your mouth and your ears to speak with the natural rhythm, flow, and confidence of a native speaker. Before we dive into the technique itself, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people who learned English as adults sound incredibly natural, while others who have studied for years still struggle with a heavy accent? The difference isn't necessarily vocabulary size or grammar knowledge. It's about how their brain processes and reproduces the sounds of English. This is where shadowing comes in as a game changer. Shadowing is a powerful language learning technique that consists of listening to an English audio and repeating it out loud simultaneously or with a minimal delay of just a fraction of a second, just like an echo or a shadow follows your movements. Unlike traditional repetition exercises where you listen to a sentence, pause the audio, think about what you heard, and then repeat it back, here you don't stop at all. You become like a living mirror of the speaker, trying to match their voice in real time as closely as possible. This might sound challenging at first, and honestly, it is, but that's exactly why it works so effectively. This technique is absolutely fundamental for mastering what I call the music of the language, those subtle elements that separate someone who merely speaks English from someone who truly communicates in English. Let me explain the science behind why this works so well. First, it generates intense neuromuscular training. You aren't just passively memorizing words or drilling grammar rules in your head. You are actively training the specific muscles in your tongue, your lips, your jaw, and even your throat to produce sounds and sound combinations that simply don't exist in your native language. Think about it. English has sounds like the TH in think or the R sound that are completely foreign to speakers of many languages. Your mouth needs physical practice to create these sounds naturally. Second, shadowing helps you acquire what linguists call prosody, which encompasses the rhythm, intonation, stress patterns, and overall cadence of natural speech. This is what allows you to stop sounding mechanical or robotic and start sounding fluid and natural. When you shadow a native speaker, you learn intuitively how they link words together, where they pause for breath, which syllables they emphasize, and how their voice rises and falls throughout a sentence. These are things that textbooks rarely teach explicitly, but they're absolutely crucial for genuine fluency. Now let me walk you through exactly how to apply this technique correctly. The process involves 5 distinct steps, and it's important not to skip any of them. First, you need to select appropriate audio material from a native speaker. This should be something that is challenging enough to push your abilities, but still understandable. You don't want to be completely lost. Excellent sources include podcasts on topics you're interested in, TED Talks, audiobook chapters, or even scenes from TV shows. The key is to make absolutely sure you have access to the transcript or subtitles. Without the written text, you'll miss a crucial part of the learning process. The second step is what I call initial listening or preview listening. Play the audio without attempting to speak along. Just listen carefully and try to understand the general context, the main ideas, and the overall flow of the speech. This primes your brain for what's coming and helps you understand the content before you focus on the pronunciation. Don't worry if you don't catch every single word. That's completely normal and expected. The third step is shadowing with text, also known as synchronized reading. Now you read the transcript while simultaneously repeating the words out loud, trying to match the speaker's pace as closely as possible. This step is crucial because it helps you associate the sound patterns you're hearing with the written word on the page. Your brain starts making connections between spelling and pronunciation, which is especially important in English, where spelling and pronunciation often don't match logically. The fourth step is pure shadowing or text-free shadowing. Here's where the real magic happens. You put the text aside completely and focus exclusively on imitating the sounds, the rhythm, the intonation, everything you hear. Don't worry about perfect comprehension at this stage. Your goal is to become an audio mirror, mimicking even the emotional tone and energy of the speaker. If they sound excited, you sound excited. If they pause, you pause. This is where your brain stops translating and starts truly processing English as English. Finally, and this is the step most people skip, but shouldn't, it is crucial to record yourself while you're doing pure shadowing, and then compare your recording directly with the original audio. This comparison phase is where you identify specifically where you need to adjust your intonation, which sounds you're not producing correctly, and where your rhythm differs from the native speaker. Be honest with yourself during this evaluation, but also be patient. Improvement is gradual. Let me give you a metaphor that makes this crystal clear. Imagine you are learning to play a complex, fast-paced song on the guitar, something with intricate fingering and a challenging rhythm. Traditional repetition and practice is like carefully reading the sheet music, playing one single note, stopping completely, thinking about whether you played it correctly, and then moving to the next note. It's slow, it's analytical, and while you might eventually learn the song, you'll never develop the fluidity and natural feel that makes music come alive. Shadowing, on the other hand, is like playing along on top of the original recording by a master guitarist in real time, trying desperately to match their exact speed, their precise feeling, their energy, and their interpretation as it happens. Even if you miss some notes at first, even if your fingers stumble occasionally, your muscles learn the movement patterns and the rhythm much faster because they're experiencing the song as a complete flowing piece rather than isolated fragments. Now, let me address some common mistakes that beginners make when they first try shadowing, because these mistakes can actually prevent you from getting the full benefits. The first major mistake is trying to be absolutely perfect from the very first second, expecting yourself to sound exactly like the native speaker on your first attempt. This perfectionism actually blocks learning because you become so focused on getting every single sound right that you lose the flow and rhythm, which are actually more important initially. The second mistake is getting frustrated or giving up because you don't understand every single word being said. Remember, the primary goal of shadowing is movement and rhythm, training your mouth and your ear, not grammatical analysis or vocabulary building. Those will come naturally as side benefits, but they're not the main focus. If you understand roughly 60–70% of what's being said, that's actually perfect for shadowing practice. To see real, tangible results that you can measure and feel, your practice must be consistent but relatively brief to avoid mental burnout. I strongly recommend daily sessions of 10 to 15 minutes rather than occasional marathon sessions of an hour or more. Why? Because shadowing is cognitively demanding. Your brain is working incredibly hard to process sounds, coordinate muscle movements, and maintain rhythm all at the same time. After about 15 minutes, cognitive fatigue sets in and your practice becomes less effective. But if you do just 10-15 minutes every single day, you'll be amazed at how quickly your pronunciation, fluency, and confidence improve. Within just 2 weeks of daily practice, most people notice they're speaking with better flow, and within a month or two, others start commenting on how much more natural they sound. If you want to truly master your pronunciation and stop just passively studying English so you can start actively living it, speaking it with confidence in real conversations, subscribe to this channel for more practical, actionable guides that actually work. And please, leave me a comment below telling me which specific phrase or sound was the hardest for you to repeat today, or if you've tried shadowing before, what your experience was like. I read every comment and I love hearing about your progress and challenges. Remember, fluency isn't about perfection. It's about practice, persistence, and being willing to sound a little silly while you're learning. See you in the next video.